Hey, everybody, we are live here with my good friend, Dean Hollingworth. Really happy to have him here. Dean has been on the summit several years in a row and always enjoy having him on. I really appreciate it. Dean, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you, Maribel. And thank you so much for having me back again. I think this is could be six. Is it possible it's 6, 7 years in a row?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, because this is the ninth, I think. So for sure.
I might have missed the first one. I don't know if we knew each other back then, but it's been great being on, and I
Right.
really appreciate everything you do for the sport. And I know the coaches are extremely appreciative of everything you do because it's hard to maneuver through all the social media and all the knowledge that is out there and trying to get to the knowledge that is pertinent, let's say.
Yeah. No, yeah, thanks a lot for the kind words. Yeah, I was tempted to, get some cool TikTokers on with their big box jumps, but I decided against it after our last interview. So appreciate it. But just to give you a little synopsis of Dean's awesome career, he has established himself as a very highly regarded author, speaker, and fitness and performance consultant. He's a certified strength and conditioning specialist, a master tennis performance specialist by the ITPA, which we're all big fans of with Dr. Mark Kovacs and Mary Jo, and part of Team PTR. And then here's where the pronunciation comes in.
Oh yeah,
Dean
let's
is
go for this.
Dean is currently the director of fitness and sports performance at Club Sportif Côte de l'Essai in Montreal, where he works primarily with high performance tennis players. How was that out of 10?
Oh, I'll give you a 7.5. You had everything. It's Côte de Liesse,
Oh,
Lycée. I could go with
okay,
that.
okay,
I might
okay.
actually change it moving
Parfait.
forward.
Merci.
Yeah, bienvenue.
Thank you very much. Oh man. Well, Dean. Again, I'm really excited to dive into tennis specific fitness with you, and we chatted before, and I understand that you put together some slides for visuals, so I really appreciate that. So I'll let you lead, and then we can also take questions from the audience. But yeah, excited for it.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, I
Of course.
definitely would like to hear from the people watching to answer any questions that they may have in terms of fitness for tennis. I think it's really important going forward that we start understanding that tennis as a sport has completely changed in the last 5 to 10 years. That fitness is now such an important part of every player's development, starting at the junior level. We don't want to just say, hey, when the athletes are becoming 14, 15, hitting puberty, that we're going to start doing fitness with them. We need to start looking at younger ages. And that doesn't mean just always being completely um, immersed in tennis fitness. No, we have to help our junior athletes become better athletes. From what I'm seeing these days, yes, we're getting better athletes, but still we're going into that early specialization that is often talked about in the tennis world, where 8-year-old kids are just playing tennis, not looking at any of sports. And we definitely have to help them develop their full ABCs, their entire line of skipping, jumping, running, moving, all these different physical characteristics that are so important. Because again, and I've said this many times, and we've had this discussion, Mariban, listen, if you can hit a great ball, but you can't get to it, that is not going to show off your forehand or backhand. If you are running to a ball and you do get to it and you can't change direction properly, or you can't maintain a stable body as you're hitting the ball, we're not going to get the results we want. And that's something really important to understand, especially that stability part. Oyvind, who is the technical coach for Casper, I heard him say this once, and it's just stuck with me since then. And I always think about it almost every day at practice, is that if you can't have a stable body while you're hitting the ball, well, you can't have a stable racket. If you don't have a stable racket, you can't have control over your ball. And then the last part that I mentioned was the change of direction. It's really great. In the fitness world, in a lot of sports, not just tennis, we talk about this acceleration phase. We talk about moving faster, getting to the ball. We want to be stronger. We want to be quicker. We want to be more powerful. Fantastic. All very important things. But let's remember, the bigger the engine, the better the brakes have to be. Because when you get into that turn to change directions, you don't want to be going straight out the court into the parking lot, because it's just not going to, well, obviously, if you're in the parking lot, it's not going to work out. But if you're not coming back efficiently enough, then you're leaving an open court for your opponent. So what I'd like to start off with today is looking at speed. And speed is something that I've been extremely passionate about my entire career, even prior to getting into tennis full time, as I am now for the last, wow, I don't even want to say anymore. I think it's over 15 years. But I was fortunate enough when I played football that actually I had an amazing 40, and speed came quite naturally to me. I was, genetically engineered for speed. And I've always had a passion in trying to help others also become faster. So we're going to look at some video clips on what I think and what has helped the athletes that I've worked with become faster for tennis. So I'm just going to go into the presentation here. I'm going to share it. I'm going to hit go into slides, and we're going to play from the start. So
Perfect.
One of the things that always comes up is, the question is, oh, how do I get faster? Well, one of the realities is that the way to get faster sprinting is by sprinting. So we're going to see one of our athletes here that just got a full, this is good, that just got a full scholarship. And that just disappeared. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I'm going to restart. I apologize. Something happened, and it's all good. And it's going to come back right now. Perfect. Boom. So we're going to look at Kiara here. And she is one of our fastest athletes that have ever come through the program. So you can look at this and say, wow, she's gifted. She does sprinting really well, which she does. Now, truth of the matter is she's been in our program since about the age of 8. I've had the pleasure, and I've been very fortunate to be able to work with her. And she definitely worked very hard at this ability to sprint. So what we want to see is, how is the athlete moving from the beginning, right? Because if we don't have very good, if we don't have very good technical skills, Mariband, is that playing right now?
Yeah, it's playing great.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure. So I just want to slow this down. So first of all, let's take a look at her start, how she puts the foot back slightly. Now, I hate to say this. She could have put it back a little bit more here at the beginning, but the arm drive and the leg drive and the foot contact with the ground, extremely important. Look at that right there. That's actually really beautiful with a forward body lean. This is one of the things when we're talking about, you just have to continuously keep sprinting and you'll get faster. That is true. But we also want to assist the athletes in being able to achieve the highest level of technical competency that they're able to achieve. So some of the exercises that we do in order to develop this linear speed is the half kneeling start. And you're going to see that she has her right leg forward, and she's going to get her body really leaning into it. And she's going to take off from that position on the right foot, and she goes. Now, the idea here with this exercise, Mariband, is that we definitely want people right there. You can see that I don't call it cheating, but she's putting her body in the most advantageous position in order to successfully do this exercise. So yes, this is extremely demanding on that right leg, because we're really asking her to come off the ground as quickly and as with much power as possible. Now, having said that, taking a little step backwards, Speed's also built in the gym. If we don't have a good strength to body mass ratio, we're not going to be very powerful. Meaning, Kiara, let's say she is 120 pounds. I know for a fact that she can hip thrust over 300 pounds. Now, having said that, if you have another female athlete that is the same weight, that does not have the same strength, I doubt extremely highly that she'd be able to produce this type of power. So we're going to watch this one last time. And again, a great arm drive. So this is a drill that I really, really like. And one of the things that we want to see when the athlete is trying to obtain maximal acceleration is that with every step, we're gaining a little bit extra space, and we're trying to get longer strides with each step. You know, and I've said this a million times, if you can get there in 5 steps, don't take 6, and so on and so forth. So sometimes what happens is that the athletes are very quick with their feet and very, fast really, but they take itty bitty steps and it takes them longer to get there. And what we try and do, and you're going to see with this video, she's going to try and beat the cones. That was really good. So we can see here that with her first step, whichever leg comes forward first, we want to be at the orange cone. So so we know her right leg's going back a little, and now she's going to lead with her right foot. Look at that nice arm drive. Look at that extension of the back leg. That's what we want to see. Now she gets to the orange cone, but now she's making a greater effort. And this was after a few attempts. So these cones are really at her max distance. And that's what we want to see. So she got all that distance in 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. And she went close to, I call that maybe about, it's not quite a first down, but it's pretty close. I'd say about 8 yards. So one last time, just watching it.
Big strong, big strong, big strong.
Big strong. And maybe you hear me in the background with the volume of the video. I think this is important for coaches also to remember. We have to encourage our athletes when they're trying to do something explosive and something fast, when they're sprinting. We have to be almost as, like a cheerleader on the sidelines, encouraging them, because it does motivate. And speed is not just about technique and power. It's about having an attitude of being fast. All the fastest people in the world have this swagger about them and have this attitude that they know they're fast. And this is what I want my athletes to have also. And then we can go to another exercise here, pogo jumps. And I think these are amazing. So what Kiara's doing here, I'm going to just pause it during one of the jumps. She's getting off the ground. Some people call it ankling. She's getting off the ground a very nice height by really only using her ankles and the Achilles tendon here. You can see as she hits, it's just the front part of the foot. The heels are not making any contact. She's getting great height. And this, oh, wow, I didn't realize it was that good. I don't think I've ever paused it at that point. That's amazing. She's actually even impressing me at this point. And this is really this exercise, and it's not a coincidence that she can do this extremely well. People have good wheels that can really perform this exercise with great power. So we can really see here that she does have great power doing this. And I think the pogo jumps, we do them every day in our warm-up, whether it's we do them forward, sideways, backwards, single leg, diagonally. We want those athletes to be really elastic and very powerful through the ankle complex. And then the other thing is that, as you can see from this video, it's not just about doing the pogo jumps. It's about doing pogo jumps, getting that feeling of the pogo jump, and then breaking into a sprint. And I'm telling you, I'm guaranteeing people out there, if that when you have an athlete that can successfully do the pogo jumps very well, and you ask them to fall into a sprint afterwards, they will feel that difference of being able to drive the ground down and back and away and be more powerful. Now, one of the things that I've gotten some kickback on was on social media is like, well, tennis players, you're doing a lot of sprint work. How many times are they really sprinting in a match, and all these other things that come out of it? And, to a certain point, we're not trying to develop a 100-meter gold medalist, and I understand that. But I will say this, that I honestly believe that the better you teach someone at sprinting, the more athletic they do become, and the more it transfers into the crossover, into every movement that they'll be performing, and also teaches them how to use the ground better in order to produce more power. Now, not every sprint goes forward from a forward position. We're not always facing the net, heading towards the net. Now, if it's a straight line or slightly out to, a 30, 45 degree angle heading towards the singles, doubles line, the same, the same rules apply. But now if we have to get out of the box, which I mean by our athletic stance, and head towards, let's say, the singles line, we'll say to his right, we may want to perform our starts from a different position. So what we've done here, and this goes quite quickly, is just boom, we have him facing, we'll pretend what is the net, and heading out directly to the right side and being able to be powerful from that position, because it does become completely different. So the reason why I did show this video was twofold. A, it's a different starting position, but I want to point out the importance of the technical aspects of the movement and how taking video is really important for all these exercises when we're trying to help the athletes perform at a much higher level. So it goes way too fast, but I'm going to pause it, and I want you to watch his right leg, what happens here. Watch his right. I don't know if you can see that properly. Do you see that? The way it turns up and back? So that's right there. That right there, that's a little glitch where he should be able to get into that position cleaner. Now, this can be due to quite a lot of different factors. He may have a hip mobility issue where he's not able to rotate properly from the hip, get into that position. It can also be a little bit of a technical issue, because if we watch him pushing off his left leg, his body, that leg right now, I would say, is a little too far out in front of him. That is not a great position, because you'll notice when it comes down here, he's not in the best athletic position to produce power. So the leg should be slightly more underneath him. And I think it would be if we could take away that slight glitch in his right leg. So again, the purpose of that exercise in the video is A, to show, I'll just repeat, A, to show that we do want to start from different positions, and B, we do want to take video in order to watch what the athlete is performing, because to the human eye, a lot of times it's not noticeable for a lot of people. I remember this video really well, actually, Mariband, where I saw something, but I didn't know what I saw. Like I'm watching and I'm like, oh, there's something there, but okay, we'll take a look. And that's what we found. And then also, here's a 10-year-old player. So going back to my initial statement that we have to develop better athleticism. Well, how many tennis players have you seen, especially at the younger ages, that feel comfortable running backwards? And it happens on court. I mean, like, if you're starting to go back for a smash, or you really have to get back behind a ball, you're not going to run great distances. I know people are saying, well, for a smash, you'll turn on the side. That's true, but sometimes you back up and then you rotate, whatever the case may be. But I want them to be able to perform well in any type of situation that will come up. And for me, that's the true definition of a great athlete. An athlete that can encounter any type of physical obstacle. And I'm talking about an obstacle course. There's no benches on a tennis court that you have to jump over. But I mean, physical situations where your body's not in a great position that you can get out of efficiently. But great athletes find ways and find solutions to these various physical problems that they may encounter. So I'll run through this one at fast pace. So we're backpedaling, and here's the idea that we want to teach the athlete also how to backpedal. So I would say right here, watching him. So we took this video on purpose just to show he's way too high here. Okay, we got to get our butt down. We got to get our nose over our toes. So I want to tell a quick story, if that's okay with you. So yeah. It's happened in my career where I was working with a junior player, 15, 16 years old. He went to a tournament. He found himself running backwards, tripped, landed on his arm, and broke it. And I've heard of a few stories where maybe not broken, but you fall on your wrist, you sprain it, you bruise it. It's just not a comfortable thing, especially if it's your racket hand. And here, the good thing about this is I'm just teaching a sprint again, Maraban, from a back pedal, and I want to see how he's able to change directions and get into a sprint as quickly as possible. So we can see here when his right foot lands on the ground, I would almost want that completely facing forward. See how his body's still facing us? And you can see as he runs, he has to reposition, and now he gets into a nicer sprinting form after one step. So not only does this teach better athleticism, it's fun. We do races where you have to run backwards, on go, you change directions, work from both sides. It's also a way of keeping the athletes mentally fresh for practice, because you just don't want to come every Tuesday, Thursday, let's say, and go, okay, we're sprinting today. You got to mix it up. And you want the athletes to learn a little more about athleticism. Go. Last time, boom. Okay, nice job. So now here we see, again, what's the best way to start teaching quickness? Because it's really a lot easier for the athletes to be able to go when they want to go. So if I'm telling you, Maraban, I want you to do a sprint and you go when you want. Well, mentally, you're able to self-organize everything to perfection, because you don't have to worry about moving at a ball or a whistle or somebody else in order to commence your sprint, to start your sprint. So what we do is we'll do mirror drills, where we may have two athletes standing next to one another. And I do believe I have a video coming up showing that, and they have to react. Or in this case, we have one athlete facing another athlete, and the girl, the female player on the white line of the soccer field, is the leader. And the girl closest to us is going to react.
Good thing. Here we go.
Boom. And she's trying to beat. And I think these are great, fun little drills, and it really teaches you how to be more reactive. And as soon as we start putting pressure on the athlete, and this is the video I really wanted to show you. Once we start putting pressure on the athlete, we start seeing, pardon me, we start seeing their true performance, because that's the difference between, right? We've spoken about this change of direction, movement, and agility. Agility requires a cognitive component, either reacting to somebody else or a ball or whatever the situation may be. So I want you to watch the young lady on the right, which is the same woman that we had in earlier, but a couple of years older. And I want you to watch her feet at the beginning. So both of these female athletes are ridiculously fast. So I'm just going to let it play through.
Girls.
Boom. Okay, so the one in the gray top was actually the leader. Now, we know that the one in the white top is actually a great athlete, and she has great skills when running. But I'd like you to watch her feet at the beginning. Again, we're going on reaction. We don't have all the time in the world to self-organize and have our body do exactly what we want. So I'm going to try and stop it at this point here and watch the right foot. That is not the prettiest of positions. Not only is her foot turned out to the right, it's pretty much flat. You can see the dip in the right shoulder as she's coming out of the blocks. And that is why she is slow getting out. And then she gets into it. If we watch the other girl, who's the leader, she knows when she's going. Her foot position is better. Her forward lean, she's a little flat on her feet, but she really performs nicely. And that's why, even though we do great drills like we've shown, I'm just going to stop this for now and we can chat. Yeah, there we go. Even though we've shown great drills, we still got to put them under stress in order for it to be representative of a real life situation. Because, whether it's sprinting, whether it's movement training, I always get the question like almost 100% of the time from the parents or the coach. Wow, I watch him in practice. They're moving really well. They look fast. What's happening on court? It's not transferring. That ability to move very well in the gym or on a tennis court or on the soccer field, like we have the luxury of doing, has to be so boom, has to be, you're not thinking, it has to be subconscious. It has just happening subconsciously. And that's why repetition is so important. I tell all the athletes I work, you are going to be doing these exercises and movement exercises, whether it's crossover or shuffling or whatever it is, for the rest of your career. Because guess what? You can never get good enough at it.
Yeah, and repetition under duress and stress, I think that's a recurring theme, with fitness as well as with, when you're trying new strategies or techniques, like eventually to get it to that point after like the initial like low stress environment. That's really good stuff. Are we good with like taking some comments and questions, and then
would love only positive comments and very
only
easy
positive
questions.
Okay, so all these comments are gone. No, I'm kidding. And then I have a bunch of follow-ups too. I really enjoyed that. Thanks so much for that.
Please, let's go.
The clips.
That's why I
So
stopped.
first, cool. First,
Dario. Hey, I sent him the link this morning.
Cool, from Uruguay. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think Bentancur. Sorry, this is a soccer player for Spurs. Anyway, from Uruguay. Stuart is currently in rehab for a shin splint subsequent to an injury that caused an inner deltoid ligament complex issue. Indeed. I only have soreness after activity. Any suggestions?
Wow. Well, yes, I'm currently in rehab for shin splints. I'm just referring to the inner deltoid ligament complex issue. You have any suggestions? Well, I mean, yes. First of all, what about I would start with the shoes. I do see players that still play that are still playing in shoes that should have been thrown out perhaps a couple of weeks or months ago. I think that's really important that you have proper footwear. In terms of the rehab, I'm hoping you're getting exercises to help strengthen the front of the shin to help that muscle be stronger. I would really highly recommend that whatever activities you are doing, that you've reduced volume. I think that's really important. I think a lot of people have spoken about that. If you have an injury, let's reduce volume by 30%. So if you're playing, X amount of time, cut out 30%. I'm always a firm believer of trying to get off court before the pain comes in. If it's a one or two, okay. But why you staying on court, or why you keep on training if it's a 5 or 6? You're just knocking yourself a few days back, into your rehab process. And then I'm a big fan of warming up barefoot, and I'm not 100% sure that will have a positive effect or not. But we don't. In all my years, I've had one case of shin splints, and that was like 8 years ago. So when we do barefoot, we do all our warm up barefoot training. So the pogo jumps you saw Kiki doing, they're done barefoot. The movement is done barefoot. There's a lot of advantages because it really does help strengthen and develop better proprioception.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Why do it barefoot? So sounds good.
Well, yeah, because listen, I went to a Perform Better Summit many years ago, and Martin Rooney, who worked for Parisi Sport and is an amazing coach. He said something during his presentation. I was like, when someone says something so basic and you're like, oh crap, what did I think about? And he's like, well, what's the first part of your body that touches the ground? I'm like, duh, your foot. And I'm like, oh, poop. Like, yeah, it has to, we always say you're only as strong as your weakest link. What happens if your foot is the weakest link? So
yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Let's see. My buddy Michael, I'm loving these explanations. It's really helping me to understand what my body may be doing and what to look out for. Awesome.
That's awesome. That's great. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in, Michael. Hayato, when I review myself on video, my reaction time and the speed running to the ball is so slow. I know I can run faster than that. How can I activate my body on the court?
So to me, again, it's all about your warm-up. And if you've heard me talk ever, I'm a maniac for the warm-up. And I think that's how you have to activate your body. Now, again, it's not just activation about just doing your sprint. You can have a friend drop a ball in front of you, drop a ball over your head so it lands in front of you. So now you're really working on that reaction. If you're not working on reaction time and being reactive to something, you're not going to develop it. Yes, you may get a lot faster when you choose to go, as we just discussed, but you definitely have to have someone to react to or something.
Yeah, makes sense. Let's see here. Michael, again, repetition under duress and stress is the best. Agree, as we talked about earlier. It does. Duress and stress. Hayato, I don't have much space in my gym and hate working out outside. How can I train explosiveness and agility for tennis the best?
Okay, so I love this question, and definitely I have some great ideas and some great drills that you can do in a very small space. I don't have them right now in this presentation. What I would highly suggest is you go to my Instagram page, _baseline_power_, and I have some great 1 hurdle and 3 cone exercises. And these really help for the power for sure. If you want to get faster in terms of linear speed in your basement, that's a little bit of a different animal. I mean, I guess you could work on some wall drills where you're pushing the wall away and you're doing quick feet changes, maybe 2 or 3 steps. It's really not a sprint drill. It's more of a postural drill. some great one hurdle and three cone exercises that you can definitely perform. I think I just posted one last week, and it doesn't matter age, right? I was doing it with a 10-year-old female tennis player, and this is a great way to help her feet move better and to develop better coordination.
Yeah, fantastic. Awesome. Let's see what else we got here. Um, oh, Stuart got very new Vipers. I think this is Nikes. I forget. But yes, strengthening ankle and balance exercises, not playing now. I've only recently been permitted 30 minutes at the wall. Okay. Okay. So he's not playing too much now.
Yeah, so he mentions there, yeah, strength training and balancing for the ankle. Yeah, of course. I mean, you can do calf raises, you can do a bunch of different type of elastic exercises to help strengthen the ankle, depending on what your problem is. Again, I do have a 2 or 3 part series about ankle strengthening exercises on my Instagram page. You'd have to look a little further down. And balance. I mean, balance doesn't have to be any more difficult than standing on one foot and closing your eyes, or standing on one foot and reaching for cones all around you like a clock. You put one at 1, 3, 6, 9, and just go around trying to, you stand on your left foot and you reach with your right, in front, to the side, behind, using your leg behind you, using your leg coming in front of the left. And that's a great way to increase balance. Because I had on my podcast, I had a phenomenal podiatrist, and she was saying, like, you want better balance, you need to have stronger feet. And it comes down to that. And it's not always about just getting on a Bosu and trying to balance on there.
Right, right. Oh, I'd love to talk to your podiatrist. Feet, a lot of feet problems. I've had plantar fasciitis and stuff, so that's interesting stuff. Definitely, everybody check out Dean's podcasts, and there's a link below this video if you're watching on the Summit side directly. And I to Baseline Power, and then I also put in Dean's Instagram link in this chat. Yeah, no worries, of course. So check that out too for the very helpful videos there. Let's see, Baron. Interesting question. Any thoughts on using Indian clubs to improve speed and all overall conditioning? Dean did try to beat me up with one of those once. No, I'm kidding.
No,
Any
I have
suggested ways to use the club?
I have 2 Indian clubs, so yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, one for each hand. Indian clubs for me are really good for mobility, and I use them primarily for mobility, shoulder, and also shoulder strengthening. Overall conditioning, I'm not going to say yes to that. Depending on your level of conditioning. I think if you're a very well-conditioned athlete, there's always you can always use something to help you get a little better. I'm not sure Indian clubs would be the way I go to help improve speed and overall conditioning for a high performance athlete.
gotcha.
But again, I would use them for the shoulder for sure, 100%.
Yeah, this is a very cool tool. Stuart says, "Wow, cool. We'll bring all this to my PT."
Beautiful.
Good idea. Tell him it was Dean that said all this. Baron, how about backwards hill work? I don't have a sled.
Yeah, you can run backwards up a hill. You can run downwards up a hill too. Not that I think, I know running down a hill. Now, okay, let's examine what kind of hill we're looking at, right? I mean, we don't want something that has a slope that is like a diamond, a black diamond in skiing. We don't want anything insane pointing almost downward. It has to be a gradual slope coming down. I think if it's too harsh, especially going backwards, running up a hill backwards, you're going to change the dynamics of the movement, possibly, because I've never done it. But I know running down a hill also, which can cause this overstride or this overrunning, where it does excite the nervous system. You end up running faster than you actually can, is very positive. We do that with, so you don't have a sled, that's fine. It's not a problem. You know what? How about an elastic band and just have someone hold it? That and the same thing, going backwards or running forward. If you don't have a slant, get the thick elastic bands, hold them, and just make sure that everything stays the way it can be. Because sometimes you see this a lot on social media where coaches, players, they go overboard with stuff and they put too much on and it doesn't look like running anymore. It looks like you're, trying to get out a quicksand that's about chest high. So we want to maintain the good fundamentals, fundamental technique of sprinting and movement.
Got it. Thanks, Dean. Stuart, thanks a lot for sure. Say it skillfully. Super helpful. Would you talk about slowing down? Often I get to and overrun shots. Thanks, Molly.
Yeah, Molly. Yeah, what we're going to do, Molly, is I'm going to, when we take a couple more, we're going to go into the power one, and we're going to talk about the importance of plyometrics and how the plyometrics really can start assisting in the development of better change of direction and assisting with the deceleration process.
Gotcha.
Now, I just want to say one thing. Sorry. So
No.
one thing you see in those videos, and thanks, Molly, because you see, this is why I love the questions, just to spark something in my head. In all the videos I've shown, unfortunately, we see the athletes run and never stop, right? So what we can do is we can have them sprint and then stop in front of a line as close as they can to that line without going over. Now, they can stop both feet, as if you're going into perhaps, you're going into a split step for a volley. You can have them run and turn and stop on their right or left leg, like you turn 90 degrees. So I think adding that into it is very important. And I don't know why I didn't show it, because we do it. I mean, I'll just say go, and I tell them on the second go, you got to stop as quickly as possible. And you see like people that, it's almost like a cliffhanger. They're trying to look over this big cliff and they're hanging on with their toes. And it teaches better deceleration mechanics. Sorry.
Got it. Awesome. Let's see here. Stuart, PT has me balancing on one foot, etc., and others with eyes closed. She's great.
Yep.
Good to hear that. Stuart and Michael say thank you. Awesome. And then Christopher has a follow-up, which is, why is it so much more challenging to balance on one leg with the eyes closed?
Because listen, our nervous system, 70% of it is dedicated to the visual system. So we get balance not just from our foot. I mean, we get balance from our visual system, from our vestibular system, proprioception. So as soon as you close your eyes, we've taken away a lot from the body to lock on, to understand where everything is in time and space. So that's why it becomes harder.
Got it. Thanks, Dean. Let's see what else.
Sorry, Mariban, just back to that question. One other thing, who was that again, please? I forgot.
No worries. That was Christopher.
Christopher, yeah. Christopher, also what you can do is standing on one leg and looking left, looking right, looking up, looking down, just challenging that foot to adapt to different visual systems.
Yeah, great tip. Let's see. Say it skillfully. Thanks, Dean and Maribon. Got to work on my deceleration. Good stuff. And then Stuart says, at Christopher, vestibular training.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, you got to do that training also. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So I wrote down a bunch of questions. Yeah, so I always try, but trying to be a high performer like you. So this one, I mean, obviously for Dean, it's probably like, this is a very simple question, but for the sprinting technique, I mean, we've been noticing that the back leg or initiates the sprint. I see that foot moving back. So I think a lot of people don't even know the right technique of like which foot moves first and all that. So can you just like kind of review that again, that technique?
Yeah. No, absolutely. So I remember when I started getting into this strength and conditioning game, and there was a massive talk about that back foot going back, and you're taking a false step and you're losing, you're losing distance, you're actually going backward. It's not true. You
Mm.
if I was to set up 10 people in a straight line, I say, okay, first one to cross the line wins 100 grand. And you just said go as quickly as possible. I'd almost guarantee that 10 out of 10 people would put 1 foot back, because it seems to be trained within our body. So putting 1 step back, but it's not, here's the point. I'm not putting it back. It is going back. But as it's going back, I'm falling forward.
Mm.
And so if I put my left foot back, my right knee is driving up. I'm trying to get big arm separation, because why? This is important. If I have small arms, meaning like my hand only comes up to my chin. I have short arms because I'm only 5'8", right? So I see you laughing.
Sorry.
Good dog. Anyway, so if my hand only comes up to below my chin, the opposite leg, if it's my left hand that's up, my right knee will not get the full potential drive, thus not getting the full potential power from the explosiveness that I can generate. So
Mm.
let's say the left foot goes back, right arm drives up. No, left foot goes back, yeah. And I'm trying to drive with my right arm up and my left hand up, and really pushing the ground away, but I'm falling forward. So I've pushed back, I've gained space, but it's also, Lee Taft called it the power step, I believe he called it. And it's actually propelling me even quicker than just stepping forward. So that's what you want. I think the foot back with a great knee drive, contact of that front leg is so important. We don't want it to be flat. We're not hitting heel first. We're hitting balls of the feet and driving the ground down and back. And a lot of people think that back foot's important. It is, but that first initial step forward, if my left foot is back, my right foot is forward, ooh, that dog, that's got to hit hard. I mean, it's a hammer and you're just pounding. Listen, sprinting is not, it looks pretty, but it's violent. You know, it's an amazing thing, and it's something that everyone can learn to become better at.
Awesome. And then for the on the knees starting to sprint, which
Yeah.
I can't wait to try that myself, is do we practice like both feet back? And then I guess relatedly, I should have asked this separately, but like how do we know which foot we should move back? Like do we just see like which one do we prefer? Which one are we stronger at?
Are you talking half kneeling, did you say, or
Yeah,
just
the one where you're half kneeling, so you're like
okay?
kind of you're forward.
Yeah, no, you bring up a couple of good points here. So the half kneeling, we do 2 to 3 each side, and we
Okay.
alternate. And I want the athletes to be very comfortable coming off of either leg. Same thing applies to the plyo step with the foot going back. You can't just train the right foot that you like. Let's say the right foot is the one you like going back. You got to be able to train both, because
Okay.
in a straight line going forward, I will choose my favorite leg to use, okay? The one I feel most comfortable with. If I'm going to my right, let's say I'm standing on the baseline in the middle and I have a drop shot in the right service box, my left foot should go back and my right foot leads, and vice versa to the other side.
Right. It's a great point. Yeah, you're not always going to be able to use the same foot. Yep, makes perfect sense. On the in terms of the sprinting with the cones drill, just
Yeah.
wondering like what's a guideline for like how far we should space the cones if we want to
So
try?
great question. I watched the athlete sprint a couple of times. Now, if I feel it is an exercise that they need to do in order, so I had a 10-year-old boy come to the club, see me yesterday. He was exactly what we're talking about. Quick little feet, small little steps. I watched him a few times, and then I put out the cones where I think it would challenge him to actually get to the cone or beat the cone. So it's dependent upon the person. They do have these acceleration ladders that you can buy that are already spread out in distance. I like this better because it allows me to have a little bit more control, and I like that the athletes are trying to beat the cone actually.
Hmm. Good stuff. Good stuff. And then let's see. The so I really like the pogo jumps. In terms of like, I guess what are the main benefits? Because you obviously really like that drill. So like I was wondering like what types of like anatomically or whatever, like what's the big draw for that we should make us do it?
Yeah, we're really working on the Achilles here.
Okay.
I think it's a great thing, and we're also learning proper ground contact. So we're not
Mm,
landing flat foot; we're actually
mm,
slapping the ground away with the balls of our feet, and
mhm,
it's teaching really great ground contact.
and that'll, I mean, because I actually have like a bit of a ankle, I guess like the mobility isn't so good because
Yeah.
I've had a calf strain, and so I've been trying to work on strengthening my calf and stretching it and stuff. So I mean, is something like that for people who have those sorts of issues like really good to do as well to like
Okay.
strengthen and stretch?
Yeah, so you've opened up a whole nother can of worms here. No,
Oh
and
no.
it's good. It's good because and this is Miraban, this is what happens a lot, and listen, it's fine. Coaches come on, like me, show these exercises, they're great, but people don't have the physical capacity to perform them to their highest level. And that's why it's important sometimes to hire somebody that's able to say, hey, yeah, you're doing a great exercise, but let's do these little supplemental exercises on the side, some extra ankle mobility, some, whatever it is, strengthening in order to do those pogo jumps properly. Because if I'll see some kids, they can't do it. They just don't have the physical strength to perform those. So again, you take a step, you don't have to take a step back, but you take a step into the gym and you perform a few exercises every day. And over time, everything starts to correct itself if done properly.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks, Dean. And let's see. Oh, so I imagine that probably most of us, as we saw in some of the examples, like we'll find ourselves like when we're at that transition point of say, like, going from backwards to turn, like we won't have optimal position of like our foot and balance and
Yeah.
stuff. So I guess what's the solution for that? Is it simply like just keep repeating the drill and then, analyze through recording, or is it like other fixes, like different exercises, or how should we
Yeah.
approach that?
I think for every, and this is an answer people don't like to hear. It depends. It's always dependent upon the person that you're working with. What I would say is I agree with what you said. Through video analysis and showing how the athlete can improve is very important. Slowing, to me, if you can't do something fast, slow down, please. Why are you going quick if you're tripping over your 2 feet all the time? Slow it down, walk through it. I mean, go as slow as you can, as long as you get it, and then increase the speed, gradually, and then through time, especially with the junior athletes. I mean, wow, way more often than not, they start getting it actually quite quickly. I mean, the young kids, especially like this 10-year-old, they're like sponges. Their body's ready to adapt and learn. So, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. And then with the reaction drill, how, you pointed out that I think the young lady on the right, for at least people looking at the screen, the one who was reacting, like
Yes.
she had a worse, like, I guess, first step technique because of the pressure of reacting. So, what's the solution to that? And I'm sure it's like she had good technique, like normal circumstances. It was just because of the pressure, right, of
Yeah.
reacting. Yeah. So.
What's the solution to that?
Yeah, yeah. Like, what do you?
I yelled at her for about 5 minutes and told her to get her act together.
God, these Canadians, eh? No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God, here we go. Yeah, you're in Washington, right?
Oh yeah, let's not
Yeah.
talk about
Okay,
that.
that's it. Well, you're up 2-1, so whatever. Um,
Uh,
Um, yeah. So what we did afterwards is I had her practice it on her own,
yeah,
and then I had her go back into a reaction situation.
yeah.
But
Pretty
it's
simple
also
stuff.
making them mentally aware that listen, okay, I'm doing this under pressure. Okay, I got to clean it up, and they'll think about it. So if you're thinking about something, your reaction time will decrease. So it's just a continuation of the training process of repeat.
Awesome. Let's see. Michael says, I imagine when you're an adult above your 30s, you may need to focus on flexibility training to work.
Yeah, there's no doubt. First of all, I think everybody needs to be doing mobility and flexibility training. I don't think it's because you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s that you need it in all those. What I was trying to say is it's not just because you're in your 30s, 40s, and 50s that you need to do it. I have athletes in their teens that, my goodness, like the hip situation is really, really tight. And we see problems developing out of those tight hips. I have a couple of girls in our program, their hips are really tight, and it's not a coincidence that they have knee problems. And the problem is, when you go to the physio or the osteo or whoever you're seeing for the help, they give you the exercises, and it's human nature. We do them, we feel better, and guess what happens?
Stop.
We don't do them anymore. And it's something that you're probably going to have to do on a certain consistency if you want to keep playing pain-free.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, definitely. It was very eye-opening. I had a a session, as you know, Dean, at 11 with Satoshi Ochi from USTA, and man, he put us through a few exercises like a 90-90, but then in the 90-90 he had us try to lift our back
leg.
foot up,
Yeah.
back leg. Oh my gosh, I actually started yelling, and Satoshi said, "Oh, I can hear you." So that was really good.
That was without the mic, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was like far from the mic, and like it still heard me very well. And then lifting the front as well. So just very illuminating, and highly encourage people to also check out that session for some very good mobility exercises. But
I'd like to add something to that. On my website, I have a great mobility program that people can purchase, and it's for the lower body, and it's very well detailed. I'm patting myself on the back here, but I really feel it is very well detailed. It's an hour long, take you through the foam rolling, the stretching, the mobility, how to open up the hips. Listen, if you got tight hips, you're not going to move well. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I have tight hips. I mean, somehow I still, I'm kind of fast, but I mean, I know that my potential is definitely being limited. And actually, like after I did those 90-90 stuff, exercises, then I actually felt like when I was getting into like the power position, I felt more elastic. So it's like really, really, exciting to do that stuff. So I've put in Dean's link there, baselinepower.com, and you can check out his great content and courses and stuff. Highly recommend them. Let's see what else we got here. Michael says, thanks for translating that. I sent it too soon. No worries. Just excited, Artie, thanks for your excellent performance. A lot to be learned. Greatly appreciate your hard work and efforts. Thank you, Artie. Appreciate it. Stuart, shoes meant Nike Vapor 11. Okay, gotcha. And then Michael says, well, you got to believe in yourself and what you've done. What was it again? I want to thank me for being me and putting in all the hard work.
Yeah,
it's true, Michael. Got to believe in yourself. Dean, I know we're at the top of the hour and don't want to keep you here forever, but I guess where would you like folks to visit? You mentioned some places, but just as a kind of a wrap up, like where's the main place you want people to, or main places to check your workout?
Yeah, so Baseline Power has some really good, and there's everything on there is not just for purchase. There's also free presentations that I've done
Awesome.
that you can view. On my Instagram account _baseline power _ really a lot of videos. I think that I'm almost up to 1,000 now.
Wow.
Like Molly, we wanted to talk about change of direction, which we never got to. There's great stuff there, Molly, for deceleration. I put something up in the last 2 to 3 weeks for deceleration. Look at that. If you need some more stuff, please reach out. I answer all my emails and all my DMs. I definitely, except you just write hi, then I kind of just delete that. But I need a little bit more than just hi.
Gotcha. And a lot of people trying to get in your DMs there. No, that's good. Yeah, I sent the link out for the lower body mobility course as well. I mean, no brainer. 30. I mean, that's well worth it for better performance, feeling better. That's amazing. So good stuff, Dean. Let's see. Say it skillfully is cool. We'll check it out. You guys rock, Molly. Thank you very
Can
much.
I show one video for Molly? Would you mind? Do you have to get off at 1?
No. I have all time. I have time. No
Oh,
rush.
okay. Because I actually, honest to God, I actually feel bad.
Why? For what?
Well, I said we were going to get into it, and I didn't. And
Okay.
I
We have
definitely
time.
want to show her some of these videos in terms of,
Okay. Oh, awesome.
change of direction and where is this? So yeah, let's go play from current slide. So I think this drill right here, this is money. I mean, it's just, I did it again. Darn it. Sorry about that.
It's okay. You can.
No, I'm
reset
trying to
later.
hide something on the screen and it just erased it. And
I
yeah,
don't see
I don't know
anything besides
why.
the video.
Yeah, but so I'm going to do it again, and I won't do that because I've learned my lesson. You think I had, but probably not. But we shall see soon enough. So here right here. Talk about change of direction, power upwards to the side. It's just awesome. This is this exercise here. That change of direction right there, where she's pushing off and coming up. That to me is amazing. So that is an exercise you want to do. Now, having said that, that is not an exercise you go to that day. You're not doing that today. You have to practice the single leg hop forward, and you have to practice the lateral bounding side to side. So take out that hop going forward, and you just work at the beginning of standing on your left leg, jumping onto your right. That's it. Don't move. Like, can you jump from your left and land stable on your right leg? Like, people so often find stuff on the internet and go, I'm doing this. Well, that athlete's been training for 10 years. They probably have a little bit more muscular strength, power than you. And they worked up to that exercise. They didn't start at that exercise. So for Molly, work at getting good going over the hurdle. I should say the cone. You can use hurdles because those cones are only 3 inches. You can have hurdles up to 6. And then jump, stop, jump, stop. And then you can work going continuously. And same thing for the side, for the bounding. Jump from left to right and then learn to come back right away and do that on both sides. And that's where you really want to be.
That I love that one. And that, like, in the exact one that your student was doing there, was like she was like on her left, like jumping, and then she would like jump and land on her right, but then immediately bounce back to the left.
Immediately bounce back.
Yeah.
And even that exercise, Maribel, exactly as explained it, that's how we progressed that female player. To the point where when we brought out the cones, she would jump up on her left, over the cone forward, land on her left, go out to the side on her right, come back and stop. We didn't do it continuously the first day. And nor should anyone else. I mean, you want to learn just to be able to do it really properly and efficiently. Because to go out and start doing plyometrics and it's just a mess and it's slow and it's not being done well, it's not plyometrics anymore. And essentially, I don't want to say you're wasting your time, but you pretty much are.
Gotcha there. Gotcha. That's beautiful. Well, I really appreciate your extra dedication here, like above and beyond respect from Michael, and skillfully awesome will work on it. Love that. It's great. That's great. They really appreciate it, as do I. So, Dean, I guess I often love to ask this question, which is like, having watched the presentation, imagining, anywhere from a 3-0 to 4-5 player, what's the first step that you would advise them to take to help them improve this area?
Well, I would definitely say the most important thing is that we have to get into shape before we start doing a lot of these exercises. Like
Mm,
if you haven't been in a gym or if you haven't sprinted in a long time, don't go out sprinting tomorrow. Like
mm,
the chances of a hamstring pull, depending on your mobility and your flexibility, can be quite high. And a
mm.
hamstring pull is something that's just a massive pain to come back to. So I would say get on a good fitness training regimen first, build up your strength in order to do some of these exercises. Perhaps find a strength and conditioning coach that can guide you a little bit and help you with these exercises and help point out the small nuances of where you can make them a little better for yourself. And again, be gradual with the progressions and be consistent with them. Like we don't want to train for 3 weeks and go, okay, I'm going to, I couldn't, work got in the way. I had to travel. I didn't do anything for 2 weeks. It's got to be a consistent process. And I think consistency and progression are the two key words that, well, you could put in for almost anything, but specifically for training.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, strength is the basis for all the, other skill sets there. So definitely work on that first. It's great advice. Let's see. Stuart, great advice. My PT is ramping me up. I'm an older player. Yep, found that out. And then Peggy says, thank you for all the pointers from the 72-year-old
Oh,
player. Know
awesome.
your limits, but reach for the stars.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
love that.
I love that. You see, that makes me really happy to see that. That's
Yeah,
beautiful. Thank you, Peggy.
yeah. Me too. Yeah, awesome. And then Stuart says, Peggy got me beat. I'm 68. I don't know. I would always, say that. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, good job though. Say it skillfully. Maribon, it is super helpful when you ask this final question of here specifically how to get started. Thanks, Dean, for all you shared. Molly,
Thank you,
very
Molly.
nice. Very nice. Yeah, I really appreciate it, Dean, and everybody for the great questions. And yeah, I would just highly encourage everybody to uh follow Dean, check out all his great content. We've got, links in the chat as well as the button below this video. So check out Baseline Power as well. And yeah, great stuff, Dean. Any last words of wisdom before
Last
we
words
adjourn?
of wisdom. I don't know if it's wisdom. I mean, I've said this every time, especially since we're finishing off with 3.0 players, 4.0 players, is, you know, don't play tennis to get into shape. Get into shape to play the sport you love so you
Yeah.
continuously play at it. So often I'm seeing just so many injuries that are happening on court, either from overuse or not correct technique. And a lot of this can be really helped with a solid weight training program. And it doesn't have to be tennis specific. Just get your body stronger, and
Mm.
it's going to help. And that's one thing, if I could scream at the top of my lungs, it happens at our club. Hey, listen, how many privates have you taken already to improve that forehand backhand serve? Guess what? You get stronger, they're going to improve without you even getting on court. And it's good to allow the body to rest a little too and do something different to assist it in its recovery, but also to endure a sport that is actually quite difficult with all the starting, the stopping, and the repetitiveness of it.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely big. I love working out, man. Work out to play better tennis. Stuart, thanks to both of you, for sure. Dario, great info. This is a real inspiration to keep it going on in the gym
Yes.
in Uruguay. Nice,
Yes.
nice. Good stuff. Well, yeah, I guess it's a good point to stop it here. But Dean, I want to thank you so much for coming on. Always a pleasure. Always have a lot of fun, and I hope we can
Me
do
too.
a podcast soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to you. And, I admire what you do because you love it so much. And it's amazing that you do that. And I don't think we can thank you enough for all the hours that you've put into this each year. Because I know from talking to you off air that it's a big project. And thank you, and thank you for having me back again and again. I hope I can always do something a little different and provide some different insight every time.
Yeah, you definitely do, and definitely I appreciate your dedication, and it's definitely always great session. So really, really appreciate it. Let's see, Dario said, "Oh, what was that? Yeah, 5 stars. Nice,
Woo!
thank you. All right. Thanks, Maribon, for bringing knowledge beasts like Dean to guide us in our training.
Love that.
Very good, very good. Oh gosh, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm like, I feel bad when I see a question and we're about to log off. So real quick, do you include yoga in your routines?
That's a great. No, that's okay. You're never too late. The quick answer is yes. So what we do at our academy and what we've done in the last 2 years for our athletes is that I conduct a 30-minute, we call it yoga. Some of it's yoga, some of it's just mobility work, but we do it for a half hour, 2 days a week as a group, which
Wow.
I think it's really important because I think the kids often are really excited to get out of the club or onto their phones. So it's a way of bringing everyone together. And I would like to point out that, and I don't mind staying on it, by the way, so don't feel bad for me, Maribel.
Thank you.
I would love to point out what we start with is always 3 to 5 minutes of quiet relaxation where the athletes are asked to find a position that they're very comfortable in. So often that's lying down. You could be seated in a yoga pose, whatever it is. And they're just there to try and focus on their breathing as much as possible. And this is something that's been talked about even more so recently. When I say recently, I don't mean like the last couple of days, but the last few years, where this really helps the brain and the body go from completely on to understanding that it's shutting down, going from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to help in recovery also. So, if you're playing tennis and you're running out the door into the car, trying to get home, traffic, your body is still like in this active mode. Like it doesn't know that you've actually stopped. So if you can find that 3 to 5 minutes of allowing yourself just to listen perhaps to some nice light music, to bring your heart rate down, focus on your breathing, that helps the process begin.
Love that. Love that. Feels so good too. It's fantastic. Yeah, it does. Awesome. So let's see. Great stuff, Dean. We appreciate you and your work. Rodrigo.
Oh, Rodrigo, the boy running backwards. That's his son.
Oh.
Awesome. I'm so happy you're watching. Yeah.
Awesome. Impressive son there.
No, he's an impressive kid. One of the top 10-year-olds in Canada.
Awesome. Keep that up. Keep working with Dean and you're going to get there. Peggy, yes, I love this answer. Thank you both for all your work and willingness to share it with all of us. Awesome. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Unless anyone sneaks something, in the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, because I'm ready to pull out videos for change of direction. So we could be here. We could be here at 5:00.
We could. That's true. It's true. Well, we could save it for a podcast episode soon.
We should do that. I would love that.
Yeah. Let's do that.
The change of direction, deceleration one.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna write a note right now. Change of direction, and deceleration. Okay, awesome. We'll do that. Dean, thanks a lot. Really enjoyed it. And all the best.
Because I can feel this going on.
It's true. Thank you and all the best, and we'll see you soon, Dean. And thank you, everybody. So this was super fun. Thanks.
Maribel, thanks so much. It's always a pleasure. You're a great person. Thank you.
You too. You're the best, man. Thanks a lot.
Right.
Take care.